Hello, and welcome to Unexplained Arkansas. This is Amber.
And this is Lisa.
And this is our second one to record tonight, so we're a little tired.
Are we?
Well, maybe just me. I was about to say I'm your host.
I'm your
host.
I'm your host, Amber.
Yes. No, I was about to say this is episode number 41, which we are getting closer and closer to our actual age.
Hey, we said we would not talk about that anymore.
We've said multiple times we're in our early 40s, and the last episode we had was our 40th episode, and we said, great, our podcast is in its 40s like us now. So there you go.
There we go.
Yeah, I wonder if it's going to start having crow's feet and sore knees. So
I don't know. Do I have crow's feet?
No, you don't. I do, though.
Do you? No, you don't.
My biggest wrinkles are like right up in the forehead area. That's where mine have started. I'm pretty good, like, everywhere else. Like, yeah. Quit messing with your face. It's fine.
So weird.
I have way more wrinkles than you do.
Whatever.
Okay, so this is episode number 41, Hell's Half Acre, and I really wanted to name it The Devil's Butthole. I've said that a million times this week.
For some reason, why did we go there? Like, we were just like,
I remember
it was Hell's
like
Half Acre, The Devil's Butthole.
I remember exactly where I was when I came up with that. I was sitting in the line at Captain D's, and I was bored, so I was just kind of looking at my phone, and I thought, Hell's Half Acre, that's interesting. I don't even know how I ran across it. And then I forgot what it was, like, immediately, because, my short-term memory is, like, zilch. So I called you. I'm like, let's do one on the Devil's Butthole. And you're like, what? I'm like, I think it's the devil something that has to do with the devil or
You're
hell.
close.
I was close. Devil's Butthole, Hell's Half Acre. I just know that it had something to do with all that. So that's how this started. And as much as I love folklore and as much as I love, all things spooky in the state of Arkansas, this is one that I hadn't heard of before. This was something that was pretty much new to me. And I go to Hot Springs quite often. And I have a roommate from college that was from Hot Springs. One of my really good friends, she's from that area now. I mean, I've never heard it. I've never heard of Hell's Half Acre. Yeah. So it turns out there's actually a lot of interesting information about it. And we also took a little trip, which, do you want to talk about that now or later? I don't care. We can
talk about it after. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get into it. It was very fun.
We didn't make it to Hell's Half Acre because we found out it was on private property. So we tried to take a different way, which was looked like a public park area and a trail. Those are all over Hot Springs.
We got the coordinates took us to literally that house.
Yes.
It took us to a house, and we did pull into a driveway, and we immediately
quickly pulled out. Yeah.
But then we found a friendly neighbor.
Yes, we went to one of the neighbors because we were just going to ask, hey, where's y'all's half acre of hell?
Hell's half acre. You made me get out. And
I did. That is very true because I was scared to death. Yeah.
And so he was very nice. The neighbor said to go to this, what was it? Miller's Cove.
Miller's Creek.
Miller's Creek. And
yes.
That, and then he said, good luck.
He also said, well, the dogs won't go there because the rocks are sharp, which makes total sense. But we're getting ahead of ourselves because I didn't even say that animals won't go there. But supposedly rocks and stuff hinder the animal. They're sharp. Yeah. And so it hinders the animals from going around that area.
But get into the lore.
Yes. Okay. Most definitely. Okay. So Hell's Half Acre is an interesting piece of geography located right outside of Spa City, like we said. And
Spa City.
I like that. Okay. So you can reach the area by driving 4 miles out of town and then taking a death march.
The most desolate roads ever.
Yes. I mean, it's hard to believe that they're only 4 or 5 miles outside of downtown Hot Springs. And the reason why is because Hot Springs stays so jam-packed for like half the year because of the races and the spas and this and that. It was really interesting to just go 4 or 5 miles down the road and it be so desolate, which is exactly what it looks like. So
like no cell service, people.
Nothing. It's like SOS only. like we said, we ended up going to this little park area, and it turns out that area was an old hotel called the Victoria, which I'll get into. And there was a path that at one point led to this area, this Hell's Half Acre, but we did not make it there. Yeah, we did not make it there. But
although we tried mightily.
But we decided no, too many fences and all that. But we did not see any posted signs. And
we did not.
No, we did not. Now, the other way around it, from the other side was posted. We left that alone. So, yes. Okay. So it was a gorgeous area though. And it's near I don't know if I'm saying this right, but the Gulf of Gorge area. And, if you've never, been to Hot Springs, it's a great place. It's a great place for vacations, for 1 or 2 day stays, for week stays. There's so much to do there.
So much.
But one of the most beautiful parts of it is the Ouachita Mountains. And right outside of town just kind of starts all that up.
And you literally have 4 lakes there? They're amazing. So,
yes. Now, if you've had a chance to check out any of our videos from that day, we posted a couple. We posted several on Patreon, but we kind of showed you the areas north of town and, kind of driving towards the area where Hell's Half Acre is supposed to be. Now, before I go any further, let me just tell you this Hell's Half Acre is not to be confused with Fort Worth's Hell's Half Acre, which I have some friends from there, and one of them posted on there, "Are you talking about the one in Texas?" And I'm like, no, but I looked that one up, and that was half acre of lawlessness and brothels, saloons, gambling. Yeah. So that would be an interesting one. If we ever do an Unexplained America, I want to do one on Fort Worth's Hell's Half Acre, because that sounds pretty interesting. Now,
there you go.
Yeah, there's actually another Hell's Half Acre in Wyoming, and it is what is called a geologic oddity, and it has caves, rock formations, ravines, just kind of that same kind of thing kind of that ours does. Not a lot grows there. It's very desolate, and they actually used Hell's Half Acre in Wyoming as the set for Starship Troopers, which I've never seen.
Starship Troopers.
Yeah,
what is that? Is that a show?
Gosh,
we are blanking here.
Well, I mean, I think that was more like my brother's age group. Okay. I don't know. I think it's it's either a sci-fi movie or a sci-fi show. I have no idea, but it's called Starship Troopers. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe you can look that up for me.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, so our state's Hell's Half Acre has a very interesting story behind it. And I didn't know what to expect when I first started researching it. But then, the more I talked it up on Facebook, the more I found out about it, because we actually had a lot of listeners and viewers write in to me and send things like my personal Facebook about Hell's Half Acre. We also had several people warn us that only terrible things happen there and we shouldn't go. And that kind of freaked us out a little. But
there was something about a yoga person.
Oh, no? Yeah.
Different story.
Yeah, that's a different story. I'll get into the yoga guy later.
The Starship's Trooper was a movie, it states, in 1997. Starship Troopers.
Okay.
Action sci-fi. You can watch it on Netflix, it says.
Okay, nice. Okay. Well, but again, that was not filmed in our Hell's Half Acre. It was filmed in the one in Wyoming. Okay, so the history behind Hell's Half Acre is peppered with folklore and local legends about curses and demons. So I guess we'll...
The good stuff.
So I guess we'll start with the curses and the demons. But it also, I just have to say, it's been said to be a dormant volcano. And then, several other little things have been said about it, that Spanish explorers were there at one point, but that's not historically factual. But we'll start with the place itself. Encyclopedia of Arkansas actually calls it a talus mountain or a talus slope. And a talus slope is a naturally occurring slope made of jumbles of loose rock that have fallen from a rocky cliff or other rock face above. So who knows when that happened. But a talus natural community, by definition, must have more than 50% of its area covered by coarse rock debris, which this does. The Devil's Half Acre does fit this description. So it would be called, and I probably am not saying this right.
You said the Devil's Half Acre.
Oh,
that's
whatever.
Where you get that devil's.
That's where Hell's Half Acre, whatever. You know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're doing.
Yeah, so the talus slope, for sure, that's what it is. Now, so finding verified information about Hell's Half Acre was not difficult. There was a lot of things written about it, both in the distant past, like turn of the century stuff. And when I say turn of the century, I mean 18th, 19th into 20th century. Yeah, I have to, because we might...
Like the early 1900s?
Yes, because there might be the off chance that we have a Gen Z listening. I doubt it, but, we have to be specific that it is the 1900s.
The 1900s.
The early 1900s. So, there are several videos on YouTube that will also give you a detailed look at the area. They actually made it there. Several people have been there. In fact, several people on our Facebook have claimed that they have went there. Some as far back as like the 70s. And,
cool.
But everybody says the same thing, that it's very hard to get there and they don't recommend it. And they think it's all private now. So that's basically what we got from our listeners. However, it obviously scares people enough to, still be talking about it and people still be warning us not to go there. And, of course, that didn't stop Lisa and I from trying to at least find it ourselves at least once. And
Nothing will stop us.
Yeah. Well, this came close.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It did.
So, technically, it's off Mill Creek Road, which is where we were. You can get to a spot from a couple of different directions, as discussed in the multiple internet chat rooms that I seem to find from 2002. Seriously, I found one.
Yikes.
Yes. No, it's pretty interesting. I found this article from 2002, which is literally the dawn of the internet. Not really, but the dude's name was Dr. Rando, PhD. Number one, I'm going to start calling myself that, Dr. Rando, PhD. But he published something on Hell's Half Acre.
Oh, cool.
Over 20 years ago. And he said that it was a place that was quote unquote feared by locals and avoided by dogs. So there you go.
There's
For some
that
reason,
dog talk.
There's the dog talk, because I thought it was funny when the neighbor guy told you the reason dogs don't go there is because of the sharp rocks, which makes total sense. But I'm like, why is he talking about dogs? This is why. Because that is one of the things people say about it, that dogs do not walk there. Yeah. And, one of our little deer friends that we saw several deer while we were there. We should have waited around to see if they, would take us up there. I don't know.
Really?
Yeah. So the place, according to those who've seen it, does not grow any grass, any plants, any trees, or any living things. And the reason was actually a big mystery for many years. As far as the tourist attraction part of it, that's exactly what it was for several years. It was a moneymaker. And I really think a lot of this lore and a lot of this legend stuff comes from the fact that these people during Victorian times wanted to make a little money off of this. Just kind of back that up with facts. In the 1870s, a hotel was built by, and I have the owners down here, John Gillen and Gus Belding. Oh, Mr. Belding. Oh, sorry. Anyway.
We love Saved by the Bell.
Yes. Okay, so they built this hotel called the Victoria, and that was probably what we saw, all that stuff that was left over.
Yeah, it was very interesting, though. Remember, because we found this, staircase, and it definitely looked like something.
It was the foundation of that hotel, or one of the gazebo. There was a gazebo at one time, and I have lots of pictures to show you that I found in this old travel brochure from 1890s.
Yeah, but remember, there was that tile on top of it that did not. I mean, it was it did not look old. That was so weird to me.
Yeah. I mean, who knows? Who knows?
I want to know more about it.
So. Yeah, the Victoria looked like a gorgeous place. I found pictures of it. and I will post those.
Okay.
And it was a huge tourist attraction for a while, but because it was on like the outskirts of town, now 3 or 4 miles is nothing, but then it was a little bit of a travel to get there. And most of the people were flocking to hot springs at the time for the natural hot springs. Well, in this area, there were 5 running cold springs and not necessarily any hot springs. However, for those that wanted to get away from the crowd, that was the perfect spot. So, all right. So the hotel, the Victoria, go ahead.
Sorry, you're getting into it probably, but like, when was it built?
It was built in the 1870s.
Okay.
And I don't know the exact year. Did I also tell you that they made the trail that led up to Hell's Half Acre? So they literally wanted people to go there. Like they were okay, so this is part of
the hotel people?
Yeah, they did.
Okay.
And it's in the brochure. So
cool.
It's
that is
in the brochure.
So that was like their thing.
Oh yeah.
Like go see this. Yeah.
Yes.
Hell's Half Acre.
And there's still a couple of postcards out there circulating from that time period that has some people dressed in Victorian garb, sitting in the middle of that rock pile. Now, if you remember when we were in that park, we saw that sign that had all the old the old papers on it. Yeah,
yes,
they were
talking about the Indian Mountain.
Yes. So if you look, because I took pictures of all that. If you look at some of those pictures, you'll see those original postcards or copies of those original postcards. That's how that's what they sold was the rock pile, the Hell's Half Acre, and then being right there on that side of Indian Mountain, and they called it White Sulphur Springs. So it was a resort. And the hotel was, kind of in the middle of that resort. And like I said, I found a brochure, which actually I say I found it. Someone from Encyclopedia of Arkansas found it, and then I got to it from there. But there is an 1892 brochure that is so amazing, and you've got to see it. It's got almost every hotel, every tourist attraction from the late 1800s in this brochure. Oh, yeah, it's amazing. And
does it mention the Arlington?
Yeah, it has all of them on there. Yeah.
Cool.
So the Victoria was constructed, like I said, in 1870 by John Gillen and Gus Belding, and many of the guests came to utilize the mineral springs in the area, but this hotel in particular was very remote, and guests could stay there and avoid those crowds, like I said, in downtown Hot Springs. Also, apparently it was a little dirty downtown. I don't know what was meant by that, but I don't know.
Well, probably remember, and we talked about this.
Oh yeah, we did
the Al Capone episode.
Yes.
So they had a lot of it was dirty, and they had a lot of sewer issues.
That's what it was. So this is why they were like, "Hey, come over here. We're remote, and we don't have like poopy everywhere." Oh, sorry,
Poopy.
I have a toddler. That's what I call it.
Poopy.
Okay. Yes. All right. So the Victoria was a 2-story hotel. There was a balcony, a front porch, all the fun things, and then they used some natural stone to create it. And like I said, one of the most interesting parts of it was that trail that led straight to the site now being called Hell's Half Acre, because by the time that brochure came out, it was being called Hell's Half Acre. Yeah. And like I said, Gillen tried to drill and find his own mineral spring, but couldn't find anything. And so eventually it closed in the early 1900s. And then the hotel itself fell into ruin.
Oh.
Yeah.
I hate that, because it would have been super cool if it was still there.
Yeah. I mean,
anyway.
I wish that there was.
Really old.
Yes.
So.
I would really like to keep looking for photos, to see if there's any photos of it, but I don't know. I mean, supposedly there was a gazebo over one of the springs, because there were cold springs there, just not hot springs. And then
maybe that place was the gazebo place.
Maybe so.
Because we were very close to the spring or that creek. Anyway.
Yeah. The rates were $10 and $12 a week, by the way.
Ooh.
Yes. So
I don't know if that's expensive back then, though.
I have no idea.
That could be super pricey.
Yeah. So the area that we were in with the bridge, there are pictures of that too. That was the park area. So that was, where, remember all the benches and stuff we kept seeing?
Yes. Yes.
That used to
and
be
the benches
park
just
area.
Stared up at the mountain.
Yes. Yeah, like something was going to come flying off of it. Yes. So they boast rocks of all sizes and shapes and composition, rocks of limestone, slate, flint, and granite, rocks of igneous and, such and such, whatever. Yeah, they're boasting about rocks.
Mm-hmm.
Rocks, yes. But then they talk about a barren weird, they use the word weird, forbidding conglomeration of boulders, an arsenal for titans, whatever that means. Not a blade of grass, not a shrub, not even a lichen dares brave the atmosphere of death and desolation, which seems to pervade the uncanny spot. So,
is this in the brochure?
This is in the brochure. I'm reading straight from the brochure.
That's awesome.
And then they go on to talk about, how, again, there is things flourishing all around it, but not in the half acre, it's actually a little more than half an acre, but there's nothing growing in it, but all around it things grow, right?
We can attest to that.
Yes.
A forest.
So they go on to talk about a Native American legend, and then they go a little deeper into the whole, is this the devil himself legend that we talked about. And the Native American legend, it just talks about the Gitche Manito, the Great Spirit, and let's see, the imprisoned hot waters of healing and all that kind of stuff. So that one wasn't like really they didn't really get into that legend. But then the next one, they talked for like half a page about the devil. Yep.
Okay.
I mean, this was Victorian, Arkansas. So another local legend from which the name undoubtedly comes is that the spot is nothing more nor less than the original bottomless pit. I'm assuming that means hell. With, paradoxical as it may appear, the old Nick himself at the bottom, where he lies chained and under the crushing weight of innumerable boulders, powerless to do aught but groan and curse his awful fate.
Ooh.
The old settlers who whisper this blood-curdling story among themselves corroborate it by tales of strange experiences of belated hunters caught near Hell's Half Acre at sundown. I guess they died. I don't know. It is asserted. I don't know. It doesn't tell. It wasn't in the brochure. It is asserted that time and again have they inhaled the sulphurous breath of the imprisoned demon as it rose from amongst the rocks, and have heard deep underground moans of pain and shrieks of savage profanity.
Okay.
So I guess Ozzy Osbourne's down there.
Is he the one that chewed on the bat or bit the bat?
Yeah, he didn't mean to. That was an accident. Okay, so as either legend solves the mystery, the reader may take his choice. Yeah, so there you go. It could be the Great Spirit who released the imprisoned hot waters and healing hot waters, and that would be the springs, or it is the devil himself imprisoned. For some reason, the devil is not in Georgia. It's
not in Georgia.
It's in Arkansas. Sorry, another old country song reference.
Oh, goodness.
The devil didn't go down to Georgia. He went down to Hot Springs, Arkansas, and he's sitting under a big old bunch of rocks. So there you go. I don't know.
Okay. And that they don't say how he got there?
No, it's a brochure. Okay. They're just alluding to the fact we may or may not have a devil here, folks.
Oh, okay.
And then what's so funny is there's all these pictures of Victorian women with the little sideways hats walking, and then it's like, oh, by the way, there's a demon here.
No big whoop.
Yeah.
But that was the big draw, though, is that
it's the demon under the rocks. Yes. Yes.
That's very interesting that was their, kind of catch to their little resort.
Hey, whatever sells, man. So there's also a hole or a small cave that is talked about when people discuss Hell's Half Acre. Some think that the demon is in this hole, and that's where he's buried. like under all those rocks.
Okay.
And then there's another legend that says that hole is where Spanish explorers once looked for gold. That, like I said, well, neither one is really backed up by factual evidence, neither the demon nor the Spanish explorers. But yeah, the hole that they're talking about, I've seen that on a YouTube video, and it's stacked. Like the rocks are stacked like a wall. So, you know, I think that happened. Now, this is just me, but I think that happened in the late 1800s. Because that had to have happened pretty recently. And by recently, I mean this side of 200 years ago. Yeah. So I think that the Old Nick story, which, do you know which movie Old Nick was the bad guy in? Wasn't it one of those movies you watch or whatever? You know, the Red Door one. What's it called? I'll have to look it up. It's got that one guy. I don't remember.
What are you talking about?
We saw that. Remember, I hadn't seen any of them, and then you said, "Oh, the new one comes out this year." The dude that sees, I don't know. We'll have to look it up. Let me see here. I'm going to look it up real fast. The Red Door. I may have to.
The Red Door.
Yeah.
Are you talking about Insidious?
Insidious.
Movies?
That's what it is. Yes. Yeah. Insidious. Isn't Old Nick what the bad guy is in that movie?
I don't know.
No, I don't know either.
Me and Elle went to see the most current one, and we were very disappointed.
Well,
is a good word?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Well, I had to look up what the definition of Old Nick was, because I really wasn't sure when I first read this. But Old Nick is a nickname for the devil in Christian tradition. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of that. I guess.
Yes, but it's supposed to be a humorous nickname for the devil, and it said it was first recorded in the 17th century. So they were playfully talking about the devil, apparently, in the brochure.
In the brochure.
So, in the brochure.
So yes. This brochure. This is so interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, my.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
so,
it goes on and talks about the Victoria and how it was open year round and it was 10 to 12 per week. Sounds like a deal. Yeah. And they were, But like I said, Gillen if there was a devil next door. But Gillen tried to find his own hot springs. He drilled and tried to make it work, but eventually, it just couldn't compete with what was happening downtown. Right? Yeah.
They just couldn't. So then they just shut things down and fell down, dilapidated. And now it's just merely, we did find just a little, remember that iron, the kind of like the iron ladder?
Yes, like that the lattice looking stuff. Yeah.
Yes, we found that. We found a lot of remnants.
Yes. It's pretty cool.
It was very cool.
So one of the big questions, though, still is, what is it? If it's not devil and, it's not whatever, what is it then?
So that neighbor had said that they just had mining up there, that they were mining that type of rock.
Yeah. Well, they have actually been looking for that type of rock for thousands of years. And it goes all the way back to the Native Americans in Arkansas thousands of years ago. Dr. Rando, remember him, Rando, PhD, he quoted a geologist named Scott Rowland, who at that time, of course, this is 2002, said the problem is how to get water circulating down into the region of heat and back again. This can be accomplished with ancient fractures left over from continental collisions, failed rifts. My guess is that in the Hot Springs region, there is some sort of ancient fracture in the North American plate, which allows for the water circulation. So that is how the heat comes to the region. It's definitely not because that's a portal to hell, which is what they were trying to sell back in the late 1800s. That, was a portal to hell right next to the Victoria. And for the low price of $12 a week, you could go.
You could stay right next door to it.
But that was debunked as well. That is not why there are thermal hot springs in the Spa City or in whatever hot springs. So that was pretty interesting, I thought. And then someone, like I said, commented on Rando's original story with new directions, and they talk about how terrible and desolate the hike is. And so I have to say that we agree, and we didn't even get that far. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree. So,
yeah. So according to the Encyclopedia of Arkansas, it's all novaculite, and I may be saying this wrong, but that's a type of chert. You know, chert is that hard sedimentary stuff. But I have actually the definition of novaculite is hard, fine-grained, microcrystalline sedimentary rock composed mostly of silica, which that's silicon dioxide. And like I said, it's a type of chert, and it can grow organically or inorganically. Chert, of course, is very compact and, layered, all that. That would be another reason to say it's not some, hidden volcano that's heating the city of Hot Springs. So that'd be another reason to say nope, because what comes out of volcanoes, what kind of rock? Igneous rock. So there you go. That debunks that. So now this tracks with the fact that a few miles away from the city, we have all those crystal mines. Have you ever been to one of those? You haven't, have you?
Yes.
Oh, you have been? Okay.
I think so.
I used to go all the time.
Or no, did I go to the diamond mine or the crystal mine?
I've been to both, but I love the crystal mines. The Coleman mines are so cool.
I don't know.
So this type of sedimentary rock that we're talking about here does not erode or weather like other types of rock. And so that's why it has those little jagged edges that dog won't walk on. And if you look at it, because remember I kept pointing out all the rocks and going, look, it's because you can see those tiny crystals. Yes, and
you wanted to take some, and I refused.
I did not. No, I didn't. Okay, so tiny crystals.
No comment. No, you didn't. Whatever.
Yeah.
Call me.
Yeah. So tiny crystals are visible to the naked eye, and that's what I kept pointing out to you. You can find these kind of novaculite rocks all over the Ouachita Mountains, and in fact the Arkansas geological people and the archaeological survey people, they study this. They do. So I guess we can just say the hidden volcano idea, that's wrong too. Volcanoes produce igneous rock, extrusive or volcanic rock produced from magma. Sorry, I just had to say it. From magma that cools, right? So this is not what we're talking about. Now, the Arkansas novaculite formations happen along what's called the Benton Broken Bow uplift, and you can find novaculite in the Ouachita Mountain area, which is Arkansas, Oklahoma, and a little part of Texas. So it's really interesting, and there's like a whole map where you can find it. So to me, the most interesting part of this is how much ancient Native Americans in our area use this novaculite to shape and craft weaponry and agricultural tools. And most likely they did use this pit to do what? Mine that novaculite, right? So I'm sure it was used for thousands of years, but it wasn't used for any of this like bunky stuff they're trying to give away in, Victorian brochures. Archaeologists trace both the uses and the system of trade by Native people using novaculite. It also varies in colors, and different colors come from different regions. And this is how they can tell you about the trade systems in our area. And they think that it's probably been mined for about 5,000 years. And, like I said, there's a whole lot on it. The Arkansas Archaeological Survey has a website and a virtual comparative collection of the different types of things that have been found over the years, both in the Ouachita Mountains and the Gulf Coastal Plains. The novaculites, pieces are different colors, different shapes, and used for stone tools. They are used for tools for agriculture, spearheads, darts, arrow points, all the things. And they think that Native Americans were living in this region from about 11,500 BC to 1700 AD. And they can see the time period based on the tools and what they look like now. They can tell where exactly it is in this time period. So there you go. Yeah. So basically, I I mean, I hate to say it, but a lot of that lore that
so
everybody...
do you think that the indigenous people came up with the lore, or was it the Victorian people?
I think it was the Victorian people who wanted to sell beds. They wanted to sell, their hotel.
Sell an experience.
Yeah. I mean, come on, think about it. Yes. They wanted... I guess I'm the naysayer. I guess I'm the one that loves to debunk things. But, yeah, I don't think... I think, I don't think the devil lives down there. I think that it's definitely something that was a huge hit for a very short period of time in Arkansas, and it just, like everything, it went away and people forgot about it, and now all that's left is the legends and the lore associated with it. Now, is it a weird place? I will tell you firsthand, the whole area kind of is. How would you describe it? I mean, desolate,
that area of Indian Mountain that we were on. Yes, it was very creepy.
Yeah.
Now you could hear the highway still.
I was fixing to say. I mean, we were like true Beverly Hills. I mean, we could hear the highway. We were like by the Hollywood sign. No, I'm just kidding.
We were, but I mean, Okay, let's be honest here. We're gonna give them a breakdown. Amber had her knife. There was no
Swiss Army knife.
It was a Swiss Army knife.
Yeah, Swiss Army knife.
We had our phones, but we had no service. There was no trail. No trail. It was.
There was an old trail.
Old, very old. Everything was overgrown. Overgrown. And in fact, our good friend Sean said that area is typically like rattlesnakes. So I am very thankful we did not come across. Thank goodness, because we would have flipped. But luckily, the only thing that we encountered was a deer.
Yeah, definitely.
And it was very close, and it was leaping through the forest. I'm glad it didn't leap at us.
It wasn't being chased by a demon.
Not to our knowledge.
Yeah.
But it was very creepy, and it felt very desolate, and it felt like no one had been up through where we went for a long time. There was like a tree down, and we had to go through the tree. We went up the mountain. We went down the mountain. We went down the mountain faster than we went up the mountain, by the way. We were a hot mess.
Okay, I don't remember if I asked you, but have you ever seen Romancing the Stone? Do you remember when they made a mudslide where there wasn't one? That's what happened to us. We were trying to go down the mountain, and it was steep. Picture it. It was steep, and it
was slippery because it was still kind of wet.
Yeah. Finally, I just was like, just screw it, and I sat down and I started edging down, and then before I know it, I'm sliding like a water slide. I end up in the creek bed, and then I look up and I'm like, Lisa, just slide down. I made a slide with my butt. So
it was such a mess. It really was. I'm so thankful that earlier in that day we had stopped at Dillard's and I bought some towels.
Yep. Dillard's is always there for you.
It's always there for us. But I will say, so if you had the coordinates to this devil's butthole, and so when we put that in our phone, it literally takes you to an address, and I won't give the actual address, but it takes you to Most High Loops. We did notice, and it was very weird that not weird, but obviously this legend.
Said it was weird.
I mean, it was weird, but you said, is this cultish? Is this a cult? There's too many cult things on Netflix right now.
I know. That's where my mind went, because every street had like a religious type name.
It was but to me, it just fed into the fact that this was Hell's Half Acre, and this was so ingrained in this area and the people that when they developed. And there were some nice houses. Let me tell you, there were beautiful houses, but all of these roads literally are called Most High. Off of that was Messiah Trail, Holy One Place, Savior Lane. I'm not even joking, guys. And then, Most High Loop and Emmanuel Drive. So, and I think that was to
Billy Graham and Billy Graham Way.
and I really think that's to bless it, because there was, whoever started it, there is such a stigma. Because remember that like some of our people on the Facebook were like, do not go there.
Oh, yeah.
Do not go there.
This has to be, by and large, probably the story that we've done that has had the most backlash. Like, don't go there. You know?
Don't mess with the devil's butthole. Which we didn't. We didn't
because
we didn't find it. Because it was actually, you know, it gives you those coordinates, but really it has to be between where we were at and that Most High loop.
Yeah.
And according to that neighbor, that's what he said.
Whether it's cursed, whether it's not cursed, I don't know. I mean, the hotel certainly didn't last long. So
the hotel must have been cursed.
Yeah. Or served a really bad, you know, continental breakfast. You know, one of the two would be true. But anyway, it was an interesting, like, I thought there would be more to it than there actually is. Now, I'm not, you know, those of you that really, really believe that there's a demon hiding in, you know, the hills of Hot Springs, you know, more power to you. But, you know, from where we were, from what we have found, you know, we've seen it as nothing more than a legend that was basically wrote to get tourists in the late 1800s, early 1900s. Yeah. Now, like I said, I'm the naysayer. I'm the one that loves to debunk things. You know, that's from the research I found. I have no reason to believe that this was cursed by anybody or that there is a demon of any kind living under the rocks.
Well, not on the flip side of things, but say to that is that what am I trying to say? Sorry. I think that I'm just curious to know what happened to make them feel like it was cursed. I would love to know that.
Well,
like, was there a pet cemetery situation going on?
A pet cemetery.
You never know.
Well, you have to understand, though, wasn't that during the time that spiritualism had, like, taken, like, everything
Very
was about
so.
spiritualism in that time period.
Yes.
Like, people were having seances for fun.
They were.
They were doing trick photography. I mean, things like that were common. I mean, that's what tourists wanted. Kind of like now, where we all, like, line up for days for a haunted house or a scary movie. You know,
I love a good scary movie haunted house.
We all do. Yes, we all do.
We need a combination of such people.
Yeah, but okay, we'll get back to that. But Victorian people were probably no different than us, you know. Yeah. It was fun to be scared, you know, but I think it's hilarious that in that brochure it, you know, shows these, you know, elegant looking people walking down the road with their little umbrella and sideways hats and walking to the devil's lair. I'm like, yeah, there's something about that just doesn't compute. So, yeah.
That would have been me and you back in the day,
yeah,
ladies.
I guess so. But yeah, so that's what I have found. I mean, really, the true history, the true story is that it was probably a place that was mined for that novaclite stuff, that mineral, that church.
According to that neighbor. True.
Yeah. Well, according to the neighbor too. So, you know, ancient people, probably, you know, people that predate the Native Americans, you know, the Caddo, the Quapaw, you know, the ones that we do so often talk about, probably people that even predated those tribes, you used those to mine and to mine that church. And that's, now how it happened, I don't know. I mean, it could have just been a, you know, geological anomaly, oddity, whatever, but it's there. Yeah. And the hole that everybody talks about, I think, was hand dug by a bunch of people that thought, this will be funny. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, call us or phone it, please, if you actually have found and got to the Hell's Half Acre.
Yeah.
Please let us know.
Yeah,
we
and like
want
I said,
to know.
There are people that have been there, whether they have gotten there legally or not, I don't know. We try to stick to everything on the legal side, but these people were there. They took a video and they went into the little cave, hole, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, so you can see the whole thing on YouTube. And, you know, come to your own conclusions. You know, that's what we always say here. It's whatever you want to believe. That's cool with us. Yeah. So that's it. That's all I have.
Yes. Well,
reporting live from the Devil's Butthole.
We did report live. In fact, we did several videos the other day, and we did one from the Arlington. You were traipsing around with your little ghost hunter app, by the way.
I know. They should sponsor us because well, let me tell you why I like this one. Because
you love the app.
I do, and I know it's phooey, but it's still fun because I would go to the same spots, and it would say, whatever the EVP whatever were higher in the same spots, and I tried to trick it, and it just kept going. When I went to the same spots, it would do the same thing, and so I thought that was pretty cool because I've used one of those apps before when we visited the Allen house.
And what's the name of this app?
This one, let's see. Right now it's saying calibrating sensors. So you can already tell it's a very serious app. Yeah. It's, what is it? It doesn't even show the name, but it had like 75,000 reviews on it as well. I clicked it. So I'll put it on our Facebook. Right now it's calibrating, seeing if there's any ghosts in my living room right now where I'm potting. So it's got EMF, EVP, and ESP. And yes, whatever.
I've never messed around with any of those.
Oh, it's called Ghost
apps.
Detector. Here it is.
Ghost Detector.
After it calibrates, then it gives you the name. It's Ghost Detector. And now it says it recommends an upgrade. Sorry. And it makes you watch a little game before you can see if there's ghosts. Yeah.
That is
like
so
I
cute.
said, it's just fun. It's just for fun.
It is fun. Well, because this episode is going to come out next week after we've announced about our... Okay, so... Amby and me we'll be on the Facebook and socials already, but just to plug it again, we will be doing our first meet and greet.
Yay! So excited.
We are excited, and it's going to be at the Black Ribbon Books, and this is July 25th. July 25th. It is a Thursday evening, but it's 6 p.m. and we will be staying the night at the Arlington, guys. So me and Amby will be, and we will be having the meet and greet. And what's the name of the owner? She's so gracious to have us come in, and there will be refreshments, and we will have some merch.
We'll have all that on the announcement. Yes.
Okay. We'll have all of the details out to you guys, but we would love to see all of you listeners in the Central Arkansas area, or just trek to it. Just come see us. But I also have, other than that, we did get some listener mail. So a shout out to La Maurice. So I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. I hope I am. But La Maurice states that she actually works with the Arkansas tourist I think that's what it says. Yeah, so she works with the Arkansas Tourism. So she said that you can get any, and this postcard she sent is so cute, but you can get any free maps and postcards from any of the state welcome centers.
Yes.
Yay.
I love those little welcome centers. They're my favorite.
Yes. So just FYI, guys, you can get a free thing. So,
Scott always asks me why I stop at the welcome centers. He said, we're from Arkansas. And I'm like, I don't care. They're so welcoming, and there's always free stuff.
And some of them are really cute and cute,
Yeah, the one in El Dorado area, that one in South Arkansas is really cute. Yeah.
Well, I thought that one, didn't we pass one coming back from Batesville? That one was cute.
It wasn't a welcome center. But
it wasn't? I thought it was a welcome center.
Yeah, maybe you just felt welcomed. I don't know.
Maybe I did. But anywho, so shout out to
I saw one
La
on the
Maurice.
way home from Mississippi.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So, but we love our listeners, so you can mail us at P.O. Box 120, Searcy, Arkansas, 72145. You will get a shout out, and La Maurice, you'll be getting a mail back. So, yay. So, we're just so thrilled.
Mail. I mean,
we love mail.
We are so old school. We love mail and libraries. I mean, we want to bring mail back, and we want to bring libraries back.
Yeah, so, just
definitely.
drop us a note, a little postcard. But also, please go to the YouTube, follow us on the Instagram and the Facebook. Follow, what else? I said it. So, in our merch. By this time, we're very close to merch. We're very close. We're like a week or so out from merch. Like we've actually made our first order. This is going to be really touch and go learning experience for us. So just bear with us. But we do have our design out there. Go check out our design. Just please support us in our merch and support us on the Patreon. For $1, you can get access to Scary Heifers, and everyone knows that you want to be a Scary Heifer listener.
Oh yeah, I love that. That's like my favorite thing. Well, it's my favorite thing to do right now because I like what we normally do. Yeah,
Yes.
but I love talking about movies. And the episode on Scream was so good. And then we just finished one on Jaws. And then when you get back from the beach, we'll have one on I Know What You Did Last Summer, which is my second favorite scary movie.
Yes,
I've already got my next one picked too.
Oh, okay. Well, I have one more scary thing to tell you. So my friend, kind of shout out to Amanda. So she knows I'm going to the beach. Okay. So I leave in like 2 days. And in the area that we're going, there have been 3 shark attacks in the last week. And someone lost a hand.
Oh.
I know.
Oh, no. That's exactly why I was giving you all the shark statistics. Remember? And you're like, quit talking about real life. And I'm like, what? It's interesting.
So think about, I mean, I'm going to be like sitting there, like looking at the ocean, like, dun, 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 whatever that music is. Oh my goodness. We were freak out. I love the ocean, but I may not get too deep.
Yeah, well, I didn't. We were in Florida, 2 weeks ago, and I wouldn't because
you wouldn't.
I kept thinking about, and I haven't been a big Jaws fan, but I kept thinking about all the what ifs and all these kids just happily playing out there. My kids were out there, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm supposed to be enjoying this, and all I can think is, my kids are out in this ocean right now, and I can I reach them if something happens, if a shark comes up? Yeah, I mean, so to me, I'm not a beach person, but I like to go when it's, when we can, because I think it's good for the kids, but it still scares me to death while we're there. But you don't have littles, so
I don't
have that
but
fear.
I have, we're taking Ellen, and boyfriend, and Dill, and I'm worried half to death now. I've always been worried, every time we take Elle, because Daryl is very adventurous. You don't understand. My Daryl will go out there, and I'm like, Daryl, someone lost a hand.
Yeah. I'm not,
I just can't do
it. Back when we were like in our teens, I was, but I'm definitely not like that. Not at the lake, not at any kind of ocean situation. And I've been to, like when I was in El Salvador and San Salvador, the ocean is gorgeous, but it's like, it has surfing waves. And I had never seen surfing waves before, because in Florida, it's not really surfing waves, but you can surf in El Salvador. And, it scared me half to death. I don't even think I got more than waist deep there, because I get so kind of fearful. Yeah.
Well, I love to snorkel. Jamaica's the most beautiful, by the way, water. But anywho, I love to snorkel, but I'm a little freaked out now. So
it'll be okay.
Yeah, right. You will be texting me, are you okay?
No, I feel guilty now for playing Jaws next week. I was gonna edit it and put it out there next week while you're, at the beach.
That was my pick, though. I love Jaws.
That was your pick. So yeah, I've already got my pick after I Know What You Did Last Summer, and you're gonna love it. I've already got my pick. Yeah.
I get my pick. Don't be
I'm gonna tell you so you don't
me.
steal it. Mine is Urban Legends from 99. Yeah, we're going to talk about that one. We went and saw that at the movie theater, remember? Senior year.
We're going to do Friday the 13th. It's a camp, summer camp movie.
Yeah, I think that one will round out the summer. And then going into fall, we'll do Urban Legend. What?
I was just thinking of fall. I cannot wait for fall, guys. We will do so much, and we're going to be at the Paranormal Expo in Little Rock.
Yes, we will be. That will be very exciting.
We'll tell you all about that later, but I can't wait for fall. We're going to have a big, big spooky season.
Yes. Lots of stuff. Lots of things happening.
So, yay.
Okay.
Lots on the horizon.
Yes. So that's it. That's all we have. Lisa, have a great vacation. And we will be back with episode 2 when Lisa returns.
42.
Yeah. 42, I know.
I'm feeling 42. Wait.
Yeah.
It's 22.
22. Whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
All right.
That's
Love
it.
you guys.
Y'all have a great week. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye.